Senator Hanson.
Mr President, my question comes from Bec Bridson of Buderim and goes to the Minister representing Health, Senator Nash. November sees Australia one step closer to the use of medical cannabis, with the allocation of licences for growing of medical-grade cannabis. The federal government has deemed the end product capable of treating ailments such as epilepsy, pain management and cancer. But more broadly, this miracle oil or capsule from whole plant production is proving benefits to sufferers of Crohn's disease, Parkinson's, PTSD, rheumatoid arthritis, autism, dementia, Tourette's, type 2 diabetics, irritable bowel syndrome, and the list goes on. My question is, why is the government allowing states, if they choose to introduce medical cannabis, to regulate the trials and patient groups on a state-by-state basis of this urgently needed life-saving drug?
The Minister for Regional Development, representing the Minister for Health, Senator Nash.
Thank you very much, Mr President, and I thank Senator Hanson for her question and her quite obvious, very sincere interest in this issue. The reason why the states do the delivery of those trials, Mr President, is that it is the responsibility of the states and territories to do that. So that is the appropriate mechanism for that, through which that should be delivered. What we have done, Mr President, and I think very responsibly as this government, through the Minister for Health and her leading work in this, is now provide an opportunity for those people who need to be able to access medicinal cannabis for health purposes to be able to. Now, obviously, there needs to be a strict regulatory environment around that, Mr President, which this government has indeed put in place. And what we're going to see is people now, once these processes have been concluded, is to be able to access medicinal cannabis, which they weren't able to before. And I do have to note the community drive to ensure that this was put in place was not insignificant, and from people right across many communities. And I know that my colleagues here, Senator Ian McDonald was one of them, involved in the committee process that very much looked into in detail the benefits and how this would operate. So I think we've got the balance right, Mr President. I think we've seen us now land at a point where we are going to be able to deliver something that is going to provide health benefits, but at the same time maintain that very strict regulatory requirement that is needed to ensure the safety and efficacy of the delivery of this medicine, and in relation to the delivery through the states and territories, that's the appropriate process.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson, supplementary question.
Senator Nash, is the government aware that Queensland will tomorrow debate and vote on passing synthetic medical cannabis in lieu of whole plant cannabis that health workers claim will be detrimental to patients' well-being?
Minister.
No, I'm not aware of that, Mr President, but I'm very happy to undertake to get a briefing for the Senator from the Minister's office.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson, a final supplementary question.
Senator Nash, can you please give me an example of a controlled drug, either on the PBS scheme or otherwise, that is administered on a state-by-state basis, and if not, why doesn't the federal government take full control and make this a federally administered drug?
Minister.
Mr President, I'm not aware of the level of detail that's required in that question, so again I'm very happy to take that on notice for the Senator so that I can get her a fulsome answer in regard to that. What I would say, Mr President, is I think that right across this country we have seen people very appreciative of the fact that this government has made some sensible, measured decisions about being able to deliver medicinal cannabis for health purposes, to support those people who need it, who are in those circumstances where this has been deemed to be the most appropriate use of medication to assist those people that need the help.